The purse zipper caught my thumb like a trap snapping shut, and the blood that welled up was nothing compared to the dread already pooling in my gut. I'd only meant to fish out the car keys Sarah swore she'd left inside, but the bag, soft Italian leather she'd bought on our 10th anniversary trip to Florence, felt heavier than it should. My fingers brushed cold metal. Not keys. A phone. Sleek, unfamiliar. Its screen lighting the dim garage with a ghostly glow the instant I touched it. My pulse hammered so hard I could taste iron. Sarah was still upstairs humming along to whatever playlist she thought hid the tremor in her voice these days. I should have called out, asked whose phone this was, demanded the truth right then. Instead I stood frozen between the minivan and the recycling bins, staring at a lock-screen photo of her laughing in a candlelit restaurant I didn't recognize. Her head tilted toward a man whose shoulder filled half the frame. I told myself it was a work phone. Sarah had started at the consultancy 6 months ago. Maybe they issued burners for client confidentiality. My rational brain clung to that excuse the way a drowning man grips driftwood. But the rational part of me had been shrinking for weeks, ever since the late nights, the sudden password on her laptop, the way she flinched when my hand brushed her lower back. I swiped up. No passcode. The home screen bloomed open like a confession. A single messaging app, green bubble icon, no other apps at all. Just one thread. One name. Jay. I don't know how long I stood there before I tapped it. Long enough for the garage door opener to click off and plunge me into full dark except for that rectangle of light. The first message was timestamped 3 nights ago. The night she told me the office holiday party ran late. Jay, still taste you on my tongue. My knees buckled. I caught myself against the hood of her SUV, the metal warm from the afternoon sun. Another message, sent while I'd been rocking our daughter to sleep with the baby monitor glowing on the nightstand. Sarah. Can't stop shaking. He's in the next room. The words blurred. I blinked hard once, twice until the screen sharpened again. There were hundreds of messages. Photos. A video thumbnail I couldn't bring myself to play. I scrolled upward, chasing the origin story of my own private apocalypse. It started innocently enough, work jargon, inside jokes about a client named Delgado. Then the shift. A heart emoji here, a winking face there. By week 6 they were planning lunch that lasted until 9:17 p.m. By week 10 the lunches had hotel addresses attached. I heard the soft pad of barefoot steps on the kitchen tile overhead. Sarah's voice floated down the basement stairs, sing-song. The same tone she used when she thought I was buried in fantasy football stats and wouldn't notice her absence. Babe? Did you find the keys? Mia's ballet slippers are still in the car. My thumb hovered. Delete the app? Pretend I'd seen nothing? The coward in me begged for that escape hatch. But the messages kept loading, older ones surfacing like bodies from a lake. One from 4 months ago stopped my heart entirely. Sarah, if he ever finds out I'll lose everything. Jay, then leave him. We both know you stopped loving him years ago. I must have made a sound, something between a laugh and a sob, because the footsteps paused. The basement door creaked. Light spilled down the stairs in a widening triangle. Mark. Closer now. What are you doing down there? I shoved the phone into my pocket. It burned like a coal against my thigh. When I turned, Sarah stood halfway down the steps in the oversized college sweatshirt she'd stolen from me senior year. Hair twisted up with a pencil, looking so much like the girl I'd proposed to on a rainy pier that the sight physically hurt. Keys were in the side pocket, I lied. My voice sounded like gravel poured over glass. Thought I'd grab Mia's slippers while I was at it. Her eyes flicked to the purse dangling open on the workbench, then to the smear of blood on my thumb. Something passed across her face. Guilt or fear, I couldn't tell which, but it vanished as quickly as it came. She smiled, the same smile that had talked me into buying the overpriced house with the leaky skylight because we'll make memories here, Mark, real ones. You're bleeding, she said softly, reaching for my hand. I stepped back. The phone shifted in my pocket, a live grenade. It's nothing. Paper cut. She studied me for a beat too long. You okay? You look pale. Long week. I forced my shoulders into what I hoped passed for a shrug. Go back up. I'll lock the garage. She hesitated, then nodded and climbed the stairs. Each footfall felt like a countdown. The second the door clicked shut, I pulled the phone out again. My hand shook so badly I nearly dropped it. I opened the camera roll. The newest photo was dated yesterday. Sarah asleep on white hotel sheets, one arm flung above her head. A man's hand, watch glinting, wedding ring conspicuously absent, resting possessively on the curve of her hip. I zoomed in on the watch. Rolex Submariner. I'd seen it on Jay's wrist at the company picnic, the one Sarah had begged me not to attend because, "You hate those things, babe, and I'll be bored without you." I don't remember walking back into the house. I only remember the way the kitchen light fractured through the tears I refused to let fall. Sarah was at the island slicing strawberries for Mia's lunch, humming again. The domesticity of it, the knife flashing, the red juice staining the cutting board, felt obscene. "Mark." She didn't look up. "Mia wants to know if you'll take her to the planetarium Saturday. Father-daughter day." The phone buzzed in my fist. A new message preview lit the lock screen. "Jay can't wait to have you again tomorrow." I stared at the words until they burned into my retinas. Tomorrow. While I'd be at the office grinding through quarterly reports, she'd be God. I couldn't finish the thought. "Mark." She was looking at me now, knife suspended midair. "Saturday." I opened my mouth. What came out wasn't the scream I'd rehearsed in my head. It was quiet. Almost gentle. "Who's Jay?" The knife clattered to the counter. Strawberries rolled like tiny hearts across the granite. Sarah's face went the color of the fruit pulp under her fingers. I don't. I set the phone down between us, screen up. The preview glowed like an accusation. "Just tell me how long you've been planning to leave me." She stared at the device as if it might bite her. When she finally met my eyes, the woman I'd loved for 15 years was gone. In her place stood someone I didn't recognize, someone small and cornered and still, somehow, calculating. "It's not what you think," she whispered. "Then enlighten me." My voice cracked on the last word. "Because right now it looks like my wife has been fucking her boss in the Marriott off Route 9, while I'm home reading Goodnight Moon to our daughter." A sob tore out of her, raw and ugly. She clapped both hands over her mouth, but the sound kept coming, muffled and wet. I waited for apologies, for excuses, for the inevitable. "I never meant to hurt you." Instead she said, "I was going to tell you after the holidays. I didn't want to ruin Christmas for Mia." The holidays. 6 weeks away. She'd been timing my devastation like a project milestone. "Tell me one thing." I could barely hear myself over the blood roaring in my ears. "Do you love him?" She hesitated. That hesitation was a blade twisted slow. When she finally spoke, her voice was steady. "I think I love who I am when I'm with him." The kitchen tilted. I gripped the counter to keep from sliding to the floor. Somewhere in the living room the grandfather clock chimed 8. Mia would be down any minute asking for one more story. I looked at the woman I'd built a life with, at the faint laugh lines I used to trace with my thumb, at the scar on her collarbone from the time we tried to install a ceiling fan drunk on cheap wine, and felt every memory curdle. "Get out," I said. "Mark. Tonight. Pack a bag. Stay with your sister, stay with him, I don't care. But you don't sleep under this roof another night." She reached for me. I flinched so hard my elbow knocked the fruit bowl to the floor. Strawberries exploded across the tile like blood spatter. Upstairs, Mia's voice called out, sleepy and confused. "Daddy? Why are you yelling?" Sarah's eyes filled. For a moment the old her flickered back. The girl who'd cried at our wedding when the officiant pronounced us husband and wife. Then the moment passed. She wiped her cheeks with the sleeve of my sweatshirt and walked past me toward the stairs. I sank to the floor amid the ruined fruit, the hidden phone dark now between my knees. The screen lit up again on its own. Another message from Jay. A string of eggplant emojis that made me want to vomit. I turned it face down and pressed my forehead to the cool cabinet door. Trust, I realized, wasn't a single fracture. It was a slow-motion explosion, every shard finding flesh long after the initial blast. Somewhere above me, Sarah was murmuring to our daughter, tucking her back into bed with lies I used to help tell. I stayed on the kitchen floor until the strawberries dried sticky under my palms, until the house went quiet, until the weight of 15 years settled into my bones like lead. When dawn finally leaked through the blinds, I was still there, holding the phone that had ended my marriage. I opened the messaging app one last time. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard. Then, with a steadiness I didn't feel, I typed a single line to Jay. "She's all yours now. Hope you like damaged goods." I hit send, powered the phone off, and walked upstairs to wake my daughter. The bed Sarah had slept in for the last time was already cold,